Ilanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simot at sa langit mong bughaw. May dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isip ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na naglilinig. Ang bituin at araw ng kanya pamay magdidilig. Lupa ng araw na luwan, ating pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya ng may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Thank you very much, Shirley and Liza. You may take your seats now. Without much ado, the Vice President for Research, Development and Extension of Bicol University will deliver his welcome remarks. Please help me welcome Professor Ronel R. Janeda, Sr.
Thank you to our University President, Dr. Michael Mascareñas, the officials, our guests and resource persons. To preempt the introduction for them later on. The officials, our participants coming from other government entities and other organizations, EU participants, good morning. We are in Bicol region, one of the fast rising regions in the Philippines. We are inhabited by at least 5.7 million Filipinos or Bicolanos. And as earlier said, we are the place where majestic tourist attractions are located, frontline by Mayon volcano. And we are one of the places in the Philippines inhabited by lovely, peace-loving, and caring Filipinos. And we are also in a place where we are around 4 or 5 kilometers away from Bicol University, from this venue. And with this, we have set up one of the most important activity prioritized by Bicol University, the conduct of the 14th Peace Ambassadors Training Workshop. Indeed, the world is preoccupied by the unending quest for peace. As a biologist, I'm not so adept with the global, national, and even community peace, but I delve much on the cellular level of peace. With that, I suppose we can use that as a template on how come a quest becomes unending. There is no peace at the cellular level when we started disturbing the basic requirement for homeostasis or for balance inside the cell to have peaceful metabolic operation. In the same manner, I suppose, that's the same reason why we have disruptions everywhere in the world, everywhere in the Philippines from time to time of peace. At this tone, I would like to welcome everyone once again and hope that we would, after the several days of these activities, 27 to 28, we would gain the best available information, knowledge, perspective, and options for the attainment of a long-lasting peace in our localities. Once again, welcome to Bicol University, welcome to Bicol Region, and welcome to the Philippines, our guests and from the outside of the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Janeda. The YPA14 aims to provide an opportunity for people across countries to meet and share ideas in promoting peace. At this moment, may I call on the Director of Bicol University Extension Management Division, Dr. Lester M. Narvaez, for the recognition of guests and participants. Sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
As of the moment, there are around 85 participants to this two-day Youth Peace Ambassadors Training Workshop. Of course, our university administrators and guests have already been introduced by our Masters of Ceremony, Dr. Dimson Rivero. But again, may I introduce them to you. Of course, we have the President of the Premier University of the Bicol Region, Dr. Adolfo Mascarenas. Then we have the Vice President for Research Development and Extension, Professor Brunel Juneda. We have Dr. Daryl R.J. Maser, President of the American University of Sovereign Nations. And we have Dr. John Becker, Professor Emeritus of Charles Sturt University, Sydney, Australia. Then we have Dr. Ananya Tritiptom Rongchok, the General Manager of the EU-BIOS Ethics Institute, Bangkok, Thailand. Then we have participants, or a participant from the Department of Social Welfare and Development, Regional Field Office 5. From the Department of Interior and Local Government, DILG, Region 5. We have also from the PIDEA, Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. Then, from the university, we have students and faculty from the BU College of Education. May I request the students and the faculty? Okay. And then we have also participants from the BU College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, especially those from the Department of BAPS, the Bachelor of Arts in Peace Studies. Pwede pa kita yun? Okay, sila yung pinakamarami. Okay. Thank you. Then we have also SK Councilor from Barangay 56 of Legazpi City. Sino po ito? Okay. Barangay Councilor sa Barangay Apal. Then, SK officials from Barangay Taisan. Barangay Taisan of Legazpi City. Meron pa pala. From the BU College of Medicine. Okay. From the BU College of Arts and Letters. From the BU College of Agriculture and Forestry. So there were those who were asking us if there was age limit or age requirement for the attendees to this activity. But of course, there is no age limit for this because peace is everybody's right. It is one of our human rights. So and everybody can be a peace ambassador. Okay. A peace ambassador to your family, to the youth, to the community. So since this is everybody's right, everybody is welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Thank you very much, Sir Lester. I am very overwhelmed actually because we have diversified audience for our training workshop for 2 days. So to give us an overview of the 2-day training workshop in building a culture of peace is no other than the Associate Dean of the Bicol University College of Social Sciences and Philosophy. A round of applause please for Professor Jocelyn M. Franco.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. So, in behalf of our Dean, Attorney Alex Nepomuceno, may I give to you the overview of this event. To our dear University President, Dr. Arnulfo Mascareñas, our Vice President for Research, Development, and Extension, Professor Juneda, our Extension Management Division Director, Director Lester Narvaez, our international network guests and participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. According to Jimi Hendrix, one of the most celebrated musicians of my time, in the history of popular music, he said, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." Peace is the concept of harmony and the absence of hostility. In the aspect of peace, we believe that the youth, occupying a large percentage of the population, not only in the Philippines but in the world, will become adults in 6 or 10 years' time. They will become great leaders who will lead our communities and our country in the future, and will be advocates and movers for peace throughout the country and in the world. The 14th Youth Peace Ambassadors Training Workshop, with its theme, Building a Culture of Peace Across Borders, hope to have youth understand the concept of peace as a way to strengthen global cooperation, share knowledge and ideas on peace education, and promotion, as well as issues and conflict across borders, and to come up with action plans in promoting peace at the local and international level. This event is made possible through the Bicol University, through the BU College of Social Sciences and Philosophy, Department of Peace Studies, BU International Relations Office, BU Extension Management Division, in partnership with American University of Sovereign Nation, Arizona, USA, in cooperation with the Office of the Presidential Affairs on Peace Process, Chocolate at Pandesal member agencies, the provincial government of Albay, and the city government of Legazpi. To realize the objective of this event, resource speakers and participants from Bicol University's international network has been invited. It will make use of various methodologies such as paper presentations, plenary sessions, discussions, action planning, and community peace education interaction, among others. The 2-day training workshop is divided into 4 major sessions with 2 sessions per day. For today, session 1 will focus on peace concepts, and we have 2 speakers to talk about understanding peace conflict and violence, cultivating inner peace. And session 2 will be all about trends in technology and peace education. And we'll have 3 speakers to talk on ethics in new technologies, communicating peace in traditional and new media, and the role of mass media or social media in the achievement of peace. For the second day, session 3 will focus on global peace and sustainable development. And we will have 3 speakers who will present to us the Asia-Pacific Peace Situationer and Agenda, Ethics in Fortune Telling, a Peace Reflection and Peace Education in the context of ASEAN integration. In the afternoon, session 4 will focus on the participants coming up with action plans as builders of peace. But before that, Ms. Joanne Laguno, President of the College of Social Sciences and Philosophy Student Council, will talk about the Filipino youth actions in advancing peace agenda. At the end of every session topic, there will be a sharing and open discussion. So feel free to participate in all the activities in store for all of you for this 2-day training workshop. So we again welcome you to our city, to our college, to our university, and thank you very much. Good day.
Thank you very much, Mom. Today we are much honored because we are graced with two prominent, or should I say, influential and instrumental persons for the 14th Youth Peace Ambassadors Training Workshop. They are actually delivering inspirational messages, their thoughts, even their views and opinions in the milieu of peace promotion and education. So right away, may I call on the SUC President 4 of Bicol University, the distinguished Dr. Arnulfo M. Mascareñas, for a message.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dimson. To Dr. Dawel, Dr. John, to Professor Juneda, to the faculty members of Bicol University, to our participants from other agencies, to our dear students. I hope you were not coerced to join this 2-day activity. Because if you decide to get out of this 2-day activity, wala matitira dito sa affair na to. So please stay until tomorrow. So, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today's theme is building a culture of peace across border. If I can recall it right, we've been talking about building a culture of peace for the last 20 years. Irene is here. She's part of the first batch of faculty members who were tapped by the university as advocates of peace, culture development. But until now, we're still talking about building a culture of peace. It's as if that after 20 years of doing this advocacy, we've never achieved any peace at all. And I've been challenging Dr. Herbert Rosana and even our past president, Dr. Sena, that to build a culture of peace, it requires a two-way street. Maybe in this hall today, all of us are peace lovers. We're all peacemakers. But it seems to me that the program that we're offering in Bicol University, even the special activities, the training programs, seminars that we're doing, are all directed to everyone whom I would refer to as peace lovers and peacemakers. So the challenge which I gave to Herbert sometime is for us to also invite the opposite of peace lovers in the negotiating table in seminars like this, for them to also be able to understand the process of building a peace culture. Now friends, my dear students, we're living in a world where peace and our security is under threat. 2 months ago, we heard over the radio, the TV news of a mother who's working also with the Ombudsman who was stabbed to death somewhere in Quezon City. Just left her car to buy something, but when she returned to the car, she was stabbed to death. We've heard of family members who were just watching their favorite TV program at night na pinasok ng mga masamang loob. Right? So, one authority in the country even asked, what is happening in the country? Is it still safe to live in our country? But, apparently, even in comfort of your residences, you're not safe. Anyone can enter your house and threaten your security. So this makes me ask the question, what is peace? What is peace? Is it the absence of war? And many believe that for us to achieve peace, we have to wage war. And this was very evident, for almost a year when the government had to use its full force to subdue the enemies in Marawi, right? For us to be able some sort of peace status in Marawi. Outside the country, we take note of some countries like the US who would also employ force to achieve peace because they have a different version of what peace is all about. When their interest is being threatened, it means that their peace and security is also threatened. Or can we say that peace is simply building a sense of inner calmness and serenity? Anong labot ko ngayon kung maribok ngayon sa Marawi, kung maribok ngayon sa Manila, basta ako, tranquilo ang buhay ko, dahil ako pag-iisip ko kung ano mga problema, peaceful na ako. Does it mean to say that when you say peace, it's about a sense of inner calmness or serenity? Well, my dear students, friends, and other participants, no matter how we look at it, we cannot deny the truth that peace is the hardest thing to achieve right now in this earth, in this world. If we look around us and see the various situations in the modern world, we can easily conclude that we no longer know peace. Kaya kagabi, tinatanong ko sarili ko while I was rehearsing for this delivery, what is peace? It looks like, when I was taking sociology, our professor also asked us, what is reality? So, parang nagiging philosophical ang dating. When you try to question the meaning of peace, the meaning of reality. Take the case of the social media friends and various forms of communication and emerging technologies. Our tweets, comments, and posted status in social media creates a culture of reactionary violence. What do I mean by this? Di ba kung minsan, galit tayo sa kasama natin, sa kaibigan natin, instead of, calling attention of our friend or our classmate, we make a tweet or we post something in the Facebook. So naturally, your friend or your classmate would react to what you have tweeted. And it becomes a chain reaction of tweets and counter tweets until such time that conflict between you and your friend emerges. So friends, what I can say is that the freedom of expression is greatly abused and misused. Especially now that we have this access to social media. You can just put or post in a Facebook or make a tweet. Even there is no reality on what you're tweeting. So in short, nowadays, truth is being distorted and fake news information proliferate to cover the truth and create a different version of reality. Last Friday, I was asked to speak also at the CS Media Planning Workshop. And on my way to the venue of the workshop, I chanced across this posting in the Facebook of one faculty member in CS doing the janitorial services, cleaning the CR, cleaning the classroom. So when I went to the venue, I called the attention of the college, of the dean, that what is Kako posted in the Facebook is painting not a good picture for the university and for the college. Bakit niya sir? Because imagine a professor now doing the chore of the janitor. And they told me that it was only a fake news. Hindi niya sa totoo. But you don't know the context, right? If you read the Facebook, anyone would have that interpretation or perception that something is wrong with the college. That, the management is inefficient. So there was this big denial on the part of the officials from the college. It's a fake news now. While the professor was cleaning the floor, the CR, somebody took a shot and pinag-post and came up with a caption. This in turn, this posting that we have, as I said ago, would fuel misunderstanding and conflict. Thus, the simple thing that we tweeted or we posted on Facebook would destroy the peace and serenity that everyone knows of. The various weapons created by or emerging and powerful technologies which are meant to protect life are ironically killing our children and families. Look at the billions of pesos being spent by the world power. And they said that they're doing that in defense of their countries. But there's always a collateral damage every time they use that. Sometimes, for instance, I watched a movie the other night. It's a true story. It's a real story in Africa, wherein an innocent girl, aged 8 years old, was the collateral of the war against terrorism, carried out by the combined force of the US and UK. So, nakakaawa yung bata kasi nagtitinda siya ng tinapay. But since she was roaming around the house being inhabited by the presumed terrorists na binongga ng UK and US force, pati yung bata na damay. And yet, they're saying that they're developing these weapons and they're using this to preserve their national security. But what about the security of other individuals who become part of the collateral damage which they would oftentimes espouse? Ethics in the use of technologies are often forgotten in place of profit and economic growth. And according to some, there are those who are saying that the US is very good at that. They develop weapons for them to be able to develop their economy. And they use these weapons through proxy war. Not them, fighting outside their borders, but letting other countries, other individuals fight the war for them to be able to test these modern weapons. Then later on, they would have this reason and marketing strategy to be able to sell the weapons and earn them big profit. Even the manner by which we communicate can promote misunderstanding, and conflict would disrupt peace. Maybe you've seen the news this morning sa DCMM, wherein there is this police officer, a PO1, who was asking for the license of a bus driver. But the way he asked for the driver's license was done in a manner that is very wrong. Even, kasi in social psychology, friends, we were told some non-verbal abuse. When he asked for the license, the tone of his voice was in a manner na legit siya. Legit siya, offensive siya. So naturally, kung ika ang pinagtalamang ganito, malagit ka man. Okay? In similar analysis, we have lost the sense of urgency to build a culture of peace across borders. Basta ngayon ako tranquilo, kaya pag-iisip, labot ko ngayon sa indan. Well, tama si Ronel, how could cellular peace be achieved kung itong palibot daing peace and security? This important matter is thankfully focused of this training workshop on peace education. Today, we turn our youth as possessing the greatest potential in advancing the culture of peace in the midst of multicultural differences highlighted by the Asian integration. This morning, my wife was asking me, Sisi na yan sa imong mga audience naman sa workshop. Youth ba rin ako? Dati siya ko mga aki pa. So tama si Dito a while ago, when you say youth, you cannot designate a certain age limit. Because even at my age, maybe I'm the oldest here. I'm oldest here. Halika. Dito ni ang oldest here. But we're still youthful in our outlook. You know, my dear students, I sing the song of my kids. The songs of, ano po sa ito ba?
Please sing.
I'm yours. John Legend, etc. etc. So, I have a youthful outlook. I feel young, although I am old. Therefore, I commend the organizers of this Youth Peace Ambassadors Training Workshop and express my deepest gratitude to all the speakers, notably Dr. Weger, Dr. Rosana, and all the rest for giving their busy time to be here at this workshop and share their expertise as far as the topic is concerned. Along with the warmest welcome to our esteemed guests is my gratitude to them for their willingness to come over here. I know you're very busy, Dr. Maser, Dr. Wecker, but you still found time to drop by. And I really enjoyed our conversation yesterday in my office. We talked a lot of so many topics, and I learned of so many unconventional ways of delivering education to our students. I hope that this two-day activity will leave our participants with renewed hope and desire to continue building a culture of peace across borders toward sustainable and resilient communities. And with that, friends, the participants and the students, thank you and good morning. I hope you will stay until tomorrow.
Thank you very much, President. And now, at this juncture, I would like to call on Dr. Lester M. Narvaez to introduce our next global speaker.
Okay. We are truly fortunate to have as guest speaker the President of the American University of Sovereign Nations, or AUSN. To give you a bit of information, AUSN's master's and doctoral programs in bioethics has the largest student enrollment in the world. Our guest speaker took up his PhD degree in biochemistry and molecular biology at the University of Cambridge from 1984 to 1987, as well as a degree in biochemistry at the University of Canterbury from 1980 to 1983. Since 1990, he is senior consultant and independent professional development coach for professional development, managerial skills, bioethics, clinical ethics, environmental impact assessment, social impact assessment, and teaching skills. He was regional advisor for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, from 2004 to 2013. He was responsible for UNESCO's programs in bioethics, gender studies, and youth development. He was member of UNESCO's International Bioethics Committee from 1993 to 1998. For over 45 years, he has lived in Asia and the Pacific. He is currently working with the International Peace and Development Ethics Center and the Chulalongkorn University in Thailand. He is visiting professor at Kumamoto University in Japan since 2007 and senior visiting research fellow at the UN University's Institute for Advanced Studies since 2002. He was a bioethics professor at the University of Tsukuba from 1990 to 2005. He founded EU Bioethics Institute in New Zealand, Japan, and Thailand to enhance and promote the use of technology in ways consistent with EU Bios or Good Life. He is currently the director of EU Bios Ethics Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Daryl Mason.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome, dear President, dear students, dear all creatures in the room. Thank you very much for joining us in the 14th Youth Peace Ambassador Training Workshop. We're very honored that Professor Wen Zolo, one of our Youth Peace Ambassadors from the Philippines, is able to develop with her colleagues, faculty, and students in the university this opportunity to share our thoughts about peace. So what is peace? We've heard from a biologist, from a social psychologist, we've taught from different perspectives. During this training, it will be expected to be active learning and participation. It provides an opportunity for you to share your dreams, to shape your dreams, to become practical, and to share those experiences. And then we will also look forward to listening to how you evaluate your own performance and your own actions and what you've delivered. Youth Peace Ambassadors is a program I started in 2010 in Hiroshima, Japan. We've had a series of 14 previous Youth Peace Ambassador trainings. Well, 13, this is the 14th. And I'm going to explain more when I talk in a later presentation about more depth, about what is an action plan, what is the history and trajectory of your alumni in the Youth Peace Ambassador program. Let's think about what some key words are. Youth. What is youth? This has been described. How do we define youth? What words come to your mind? Youth are persons who are looking for the future. Youth have energy. Is that right? Sorry, do you have energy? Yes. Do you have fun? Yes. Do you have any concerns? Why? You're youth. You should not have concerns, only dreams, passion, and energy. Do you have love? Yes. Do you give love? Yes. Okay. So love and justice is a concept we learn at a young age. Are you happy?
Yes.
Why? Because you're young at heart? So the essence and the dignity of human beings is to have a happy and good life. And our energy of youth, if you still have that, then you're young. So that's the only definition. Unfortunately, in the world, we have some young people who have no energy, who starve to death, who are victims of war, victims of insecurity. So they might be only 8 years old, as we heard, but they may not really be young anymore, because their youth was taken away. So our responsibility is to have people enabled to be young. Do young people have wisdom? Yes or no?
Yes.
But our wisdom is the capacity to love learning. Wisdom is an active form of learning. And when are we learning the most actively? When we're very young. Our brain is reconnecting our neurons. For the biologists in the room, we understand the processes of biology. For the sociologists, we understand the social nature of forming connections. Our mind is a social construct, but also a neurological construct. So, when we say that old people are wise, sometimes we have to question that, because actually they're learning, their daily learning goals may not always be very active. But if we can keep people young and active, then they are youth. Peace. So are you peaceful?
Yes.
Even though people are dying in the world, are you peaceful? Yes, so it bothers us, yeah? It's our duty and responsibility to overcome that. It's an opportunity. So can I be at peace if other people are not at peace? So it depends again on the concept of what is peace. Peace includes this concept of cooperation, of love, but also working towards peace. It's a human right for peace. It's an opportunity for us. So these are some aspects of the peace that we require. Ambassador. What does an ambassador do? Are you ambassadors? Are you ambassadors of peace? We would expect from the university, if you graduate in peace studies, you must be an ambassador of peace. Shouldn't you?
Yes.
Okay, so from our program, we've tried to develop around the world the concept of youth peace ambassadors, that we are agents of transformation to make the world more peaceful. We have a cooperation with different bodies during this conference, and we're honored to be working with Bickel University, who we have a memorandum of understanding to work together for activities, education and peace and love. This is the emblem of the Youth Peace Ambassadors International. It was developed by some of our Youth Peace Ambassadors, and it is a dove and a world. These are interesting images. Why doves? I don't know. Doves seem to be a very peaceful word, a bird that we use. An olive branch. Now, you've heard from your president of Bickel University has been talking about some examples of the responsibilities of nations to develop peace. Okay? And we can hear some examples where countries that claim to promote peace do not. Some of you have heard of the United Nations, have you?
Yes.
Okay. So the United Nations was founded in 1945, and it starts with the charter which says, "We, the peoples of the world, will work." So there'll be no more wars, there'll be peace, there'll be respect for human rights. Do you think it does a good job?
It did. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
What about now?
Like all of us, it's difficult to be efficient and successful all the time. So we also sometimes reflect, should the United Nations change? For example, the Security Council has 15 members rotating. But 5 of these veto members are permanent members of the Security Council. If we look at the countries that make the most money from selling weapons, which countries are the countries who make the most money from selling weapons?
U.S.
The US, Russia, China, England, France. Thank you for being permanent members of the United Nations Security Council.
They're selling war.
They are selling peace or selling war? This is a question. So maybe we need to reform. This is a great question that we will also address. Human security and peace. How can we construct it? So can we rely on the United Nations? Can we rely on governments? No. Can I rely on you?
Yes.
Okay. So individuals who are empowered and educated to make peace and construct peace, these are the vehicles of peace and love in the world, not institutions. But still, as universities, we have responsibilities to set up programs of peace, of education, to enable empowered individuals to work for peace. And we have a responsibility that our students and our faculty will remain youth. Remember, youth are defined people who are seeking to educate and transform and learn. They're seeking wisdom. The wisdom is active, not just passive. So the examination of peace studies is the transformation you make in the world. I would propose that you have no written examination in your university studies. Rather, the examination is the mark on the world that you make. It may be that you help your local community. It may be that you plant mangroves. I saw somebody from the renewable energy. I saw somebody from environment. It may be that you make peace between countries that seem intrinsically always at war. Maybe you can solve the Israeli-Palestine conflict. Okay. Maybe you can solve the Mindanao problem. Maybe you can save the Rohingya challenge. Maybe you can change the hegemony of power between the North and the South in the world. Maybe you can decolonize our structures in the world. Maybe you can abolish nuclear weapons. Maybe you can help one depressed person be happy and see the value of life. So whatever you want to do, these are all the measures of our success as educational institutions for transformational communities. Our measure of success is not based on your GPA. It's not based on if you can memorize a textbook and reproduce it in an exam. I can have a computer do that for me easily. You're not to memorize, you are to transform. So that is one of the goals of this program. We have this program that you will continue to be peace ambassadors for the rest of your life. And you will touch people's lives all around you, all creatures, great and small. So thank you very much for spending 2 days intensely together and for bringing your skills and your hopes and dreams together to work with each other. So I thank you again for your joining us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mazer, and of course, Dr. Nolly Mascarenas. Well, I believe we are all set for the plenary sessions for this morning. We have the morning session is actually on peace concepts, and we will tackle some issues on understanding peace, conflict, and violence. And another topic is on cultivating inner peace. So to start with, help me welcome once again our first...
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and sana hopefully masukan lahat na makakonvention tayo. And first and foremost, I would like to thank Professor Mazer, Ma'am Weng, and Ma'am Lily, my former professor in World Literature, and to all participants in this particular conference, welcome. So, way back 2015, I am part of the 10th Youth Peace Ambassador in Indonesia. But with the help of Professor Soilo, Ma'am Weng, I was able to participate in that particular conference wherein we have to make also an action plan. In that action plan, ICANN, the title of the action plan was ICANN, that was produced by Ma'am Weng, and I was an active member of that particular product or plan that was made by Professor Weng. So, in this conference, I was really lucky to be part of this conference because during that time I was really shy. I was really not that kind of student that was really engaging in this kind of activities. I was like an ordinary student during that time. But Ma'am Weng unleashed that potential in me to be a student, not just bound only in the classroom, but a student that has this calling to participate and also to engage in other activities, especially in the society. So, during that conference in Indonesia, I was really happy because it is first time I was able to go to a country. And that was also the first time that I met a lot of people, not only Filipino people, but of course other people in different countries. So I had friends there. Ma'am Ananya was part also of that conference, and I met a lot of people that were really enthusiastic with those plans that they want to apply to their respective places, to their respective place, so that they can be able to reach that dream of them na mapatuloy yung goal talaga na to have this peace-keeping community. So, I'm encouraging everyone, especially yung mga students dito, yung nasa PU, please grab this opportunity not only to gain certificates because for me it is much more than the certificate that we will have after this planning, but it is beyond of what is expected to us na ma-i-apply natin yung planong magagawa natin ngayon. So, students, yung students dito, sana hindi lang tayo makagawa ng action plan, but sana ano natin ito, make it to reality, hindi lang puro plano. So, ayun po, also, as far as I remember, nung time namin, na-mention kanina ni Professor Mazer na we climbed mountain there in Indonesia, and isang nakakatawang kwento dito is that may dala-dala pa ako ng bagay kasi parang halata hindi talaga ako sanay na sa mga ganyang kumbaga mga ganyang activity, kumbaga I was not really aware ng different cultures noon, and pinagtatawanan pa ako ng mga iba kong kasamaan. Those other participants were laughing at me because I have to bring this big luggage na akala ko kasi may swimming, wala naman pala sa swimming doon. So nakakatawa talaga. And Professor Mazer brought us to the lake. Not lake, is spring. Yung pala, sabi ko, yung spring pala, hindi mo pala dagat talaga. Kasi parang na-mention doon na may pupuntahan daw kaming lugar na may swimming daw, parang gano'n. So, expect naman ako na may gano'ng mga pakulo, may gano'ng ano pala. Pero, sabi ko, may spring pala. So, di na pala nakakaya na kahit may dala akong damit. Alos marami akong dalang damit nun eh. Kasi sabi ko, swimming to eh. Typical Filipino, katulad ko, excited ako masyado pag mga excursions ko baga. Excited ako. So, ayun po, may mga kasamahan din ako doon na from, kung hindi ko nakakalimutan, galing sa Singapore. Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan, pero he was also the one na nagturo sa akin kung ano ba yung importansya ng peace. Not only sa classroom, kasi parang may tinanong sa amin noon, there was this certain activity na every parang lugar na pupunta namin, may particular question na tinatanong sa akin. Tapos, yung question na yun, tungkol ata yun sa parang implementation of capital punishment. Kung nag-agree daw kami yung sa implementation ng capital punishment sa bansa or sa lugar nyo, kung nag-agree kayo kung mayroong ganong kalakaran. So, ayun, namaka ako dun sa mga sagot ng kanya-kanyang participants. So, another part of that was also the culture. Marami akong kilalang tao na hindi ko talaga, sabi ko, mga ibang klaseng tao. So, those persons were really admirable because in Bandung, Indonesia, I met a very wealthy man na, kumbaga, yung mayaman talaga siya eh. Pero, doon ko rin nakita na kahit mayaman siya, very humble na tao kasi siya pa yung nahugas na pinanina namin. So, sabi ko, why not implement this kind of culture dito sa Pilipinas? So, sana ganun din tayo. Hindi porket mayaman ka, kumbaga, the humility is there. Kung hindi naman talaga kailangan na i-isolate yung katayuan sa society. Kaya sabi ko, talagang ibang klaseng tao. Kasi kapag nahugas, kinausap mo ba ako, sabi niya, are you a student? Sabi ko, yes, I'm a student of Bicol University from Albay. So, sabi niya sa akin, oh, that was nice. Sabi niya gano'n. And sabi niya ba, I wasn't able to go to school, but sabi niya, look at me now. I have this property, mayaman daw siya, may mga negosyo siya. Isa to sa mga sinabi niya sa akin, hindi ko makakalimutan. Sabi niya, kahit may property ako, kahit may mga negosyo ako, marami akong napupuntahan na lugar, pero dito pa rin nakakalimutan kung saan akong lugar nanggaling. Talagang shock na siya. Sabi ko, wow. Yun na lang yung sabi ko. Parang hindi na ako nakapagsalita sa super, alam ko sa kanya, parang pagkatama sa kanya. So, ayun po, si Ma'am Weng talaga yung naging bridge. Hindi bridge na talagang makarating ako sa ganitong conference, especially to Professor Maser. I was really grateful to him because karoon ako ng chance na maka-encounter ng tao na katulad niya. Hindi lang sabihin na natin talagang magaling talaga, pero yung matututunan mo, yung lessons na matututunan mo galing sa kanya. And sana lahat, hopefully lahat, and especially yung students, sana magkaroon kayo ng individual growth. Not only being a student, but also to be a citizen na may pakialam. Hindi lang yung, sabi nga ni Professor Maser, not only na you have this inner peace, and kahit may inner peace tayo, wala ka na pakialam sa nangyayari sa kapalibutan. So, ayun po, welcome ulit dun sa mga participants, and thank you po sa inyong lahat. And ayun po.